Hello and welcome to the Bootstrap course. Now, in this movie, we are going to talk about the tables. Now, tables are really kind of a tough to work in the HTML, and of course, CSS is always the toughest part. But Bootstrap makes it a little bit easier for us to work on with the tables. So notice we have got a table out here. Here the heading says table. We have got a table head and the table body. Now let us open up our browser and we can see that this table is kind of a messed up. Everything is not being separated. Everything needs some indentation and all of such thing. Now let's take a help of the Bootstrap to make sure that this table looks pretty nice and pretty good. Now what you have to do to make sure that this table looks good, let's start from here. In the table we have to make sure that we have a class of, and I'll make a class of the table inside the table out here, so I'll call it as class equals, and the table class would be table. Now that's it, that's all you have to do. Now let me just save this and open up my browser, and you can see already my table is looking pretty nice. There is no such effect like mouse over and all of that, but still it looks pretty good to me at the first end. Now the table is pretty simple. We have got some name, courses and some fictitious email. Now let's say you want to modify this table to, let's say, some more extent than what you would like to do. Now all what you have to do is call another class of the table. Like in this example, let's call another class, and this is how you call any other subclass in the Bootstrap, and I'll call it as stripped tables. Now there are a couple of other stripped, and all of these I'll talk about them in this movie. Let's just proceed step by step. So first we have done table and table strip. Now rest of the table what I have created is really simple. I have got tr and th. Now in the tr we have to mention the th. The table head is out here, and likewise I have created the table body. So it's a tr, td, simple syntax out here, and I hope you are aware about it. If not, take a look at our HTML course. So we have gone with the table stripped. I'll save this and open up my browser. Now notice that there is a slightish grayish in these kind of rows and slightish whitish out here in this particular row. That's the stripped table that we can have with the Bootstrap. Now also, if you don't like this, you can simply change this stripped to the bordered. So I'll call it as bordered. And oops, I made a typo. Let's save this. And when I open this up in my browser, it's not visual, but I can place my cursor here. Now it should be visible because the brackets detect where your cursor is pointing and highlights that in the browser. So you can notice there is a slightish and very light border over the table. Of course, you can make this border look pretty thick and all of such thing. But what I say with the Bootstrap is, if it looks clean, it will look good. So this looks pretty clean to me. Now this is all about the border table that you have. If you don't like the border table, here is my favorite table. Now this is known as the hover table, and I like it quite a lot. And there are a couple of reasons for it. Now when I say table-hover and save it, now notice there is nothing extraordinary. Oops, let me place the cursor out here. And notice there is nothing extraordinary, but as I move my mouse over it, notice this is highlighted. And this is pretty powerful and it impresses user a lot. So I'm quite a fan of it. If you also liked it, try to use it quite a lot in your web templates that you're going to create after this. Now also, if you're short of space, notice this table is extending quite a lot. Then there is an option of condensed table as well. So let me just call that condensed. I'll save it. And notice now my table is a bit shrinky. Now you will not notice it directly, but what I will suggest to you is try to make a copy of the previous table and then name it as condensed. It will give you a bit more idea. Now condensed table is not very much high out there. It just makes sure that it is compact a bit. It's cut the cell padding in the half and all of such things. So it's pretty condensed, you can say. Now here comes the last one, which is my favorite at all. Now to make sure that this table looks pretty impressive, what I usually do, I call a class of the table inside the tables. Let me show you what does that mean. First of all, I'll call a hover table because that's my favorite. And it's always good thing to work with your favorite one. Now it looks good. Now what I'll do, I'll call this tr. Now the impressive part about the Bootstrap is you can call any class anywhere. Like for example, I'll call the success class out here in this tr. And I guess I should not be calling out here because it's the top level. And I'll call it out here in this part. This will look much more good. I'll save this and open up my browser. Now you can see it is green, so entire part is green. Now let's say you just want to make this html@example.com bit bluish or something like that. So what you can do, you can call any class anywhere. So I'll call the class and I'll call it as info. I hope you remember all the classes from the previous movie. So let me place my cursor somewhere else like this and open this up, and notice the green color is out here and the blue color is out there. The reason why I kept it as hover, because notice the color shades becomes a bit just point light darker when you move on your mouse over it. So that's the good thing. Now what you'll do, try to make sure that how to make this particular last line as bit reddish. I hope you remember the class name from the previous movie. That's pretty simple job. Now let me give you a hint. You have to make sure that you call the classes out somewhere here. Now I'll not show, this is really easy task that you can do. Make sure that you report me at the question and answer section that how you did this line as reddish and what was the class name. A pretty simple exercise, but don't miss these classes and these simple exercises. This is going to teach you a lot and this will help you at the end when we will create the templates.